All right, listen up. If you're building with autonomous AI agents, especially if you're using open source frameworks like Claude to add new skills, you are going to want to hear this. A massive security blind spot has just been uncovered, and it could be putting your entire operation at risk without you even realizing it. So let's get right into it and figure out what's going on.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that's, well, frankly, it's pretty shocking. Research from Cisco Talos just found that a staggering 10.8% of all the community skills for the OpenClaw framework have malicious code patterns inside them. Think about that. That's more than 1 in every 10 new features you download for your agent, potentially a hidden time bomb. And the scale of this thing is just huge. It's not just about bad code and skills. Bitdefender found over 135,000 OpenClaw agent instances that are just sitting there, totally exposed on the public internet. This isn't some theoretical what-if scenario. It's a giant live attack surface just waiting for someone to take advantage of it.
So what does this actually mean for you? Well, it translates into some really nasty real-world problems. We're talking about attackers being able to run their own code remotely, steal your API keys and other credentials, or even hijack your agent's core instructions to make it do their bidding.
But you know what the scariest part is? The biggest risk here is that most people running these agents have absolutely no clue this is even happening. The dashboards we all look at, yeah, they're great for seeing how many tasks your agent has completed, but they are completely blind to these kinds of security threats running silently in the background. So this all points to one thing, right? There's a fundamental, hidden security threat baked into the system. There's a critical blind spot in the way the entire autonomous agent ecosystem is set up right now. And this is the part you really need to get. Every single time you install a new skill, you're not just adding a cool new feature. You are literally executing code that you probably haven't audited, and it's running with all the permissions your agent has. We treat them like simple plugins, but really, we're just running unknown scripts without a second thought. This lack of oversight creates something brand new. It's what we call an AI-native attack vector. And this isn't just your typical malware problem, which is exactly why all of our traditional security tools are completely failing to protect these systems. Look at it this way. Traditional software is pretty predictable, right? It follows hard-coded logic so you can scan it for known problems. But AI agents? Whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. They're interpreting natural language, following dynamic prompts. The vulnerabilities aren't just in the code anymore. They're hidden in the context and the logic of the conversation itself. So this new way of working opens the door to a whole new class of threats that our old tools just can't see. We're talking about things like prompt injection, where an attacker basically tricks your agent with some sneaky instructions. Or even something called soul file poisoning, where they actually rewrite the agent's core personality and goals. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is coming straight from the security community itself. Researchers have openly admitted that traditional scanners like VirusTotal are completely blind to these new AI-native attacks. The tools we've trusted for decades just can't see the problem. Okay, so the problem is huge and our old tools are useless. So what's the fix? Well, we need a new approach, something built for this world. For example, there's a tool called Fleet Shield that's designed to add this missing security layer specifically for autonomous AI. And the way it works is really important. This isn't another AI trying to guess if something's bad. Nope, it's pure deterministic pattern detection. That means it's not guessing and there's zero risk of an LLM hallucinating and giving you a false result. It's just reliable and super fast. The whole scanning process basically attacks the problem from 3 different angles. First, it looks for dangerous code patterns in any exposed gateways. Then it hunts for those tricky AI native threats like social engineering tactics and prompt injections. And finally, it checks if the skill is trying to phone home to any known malicious servers. And what you get at the end is super simple and super clear. You don't get some vague warning. You get an actual security score, a letter grade, and a straightforward verdict. Safe, caution, or blocked. It even tells you exactly what it found, all in less than a second. So this all leads to a really important shift in how we need to think about this stuff. It's all about moving away from a model of just blindly trusting community code to a model of active verification. Verification over trust. And this is why it matters so much. A compromised skill? That's not just some bug for your engineers to fix. No way. If your agent is handling API keys, touching financial systems, or managing your business, that malicious skill becomes a serious operational risk. The consequences could be devastating. Okay, so what can you do about this? Like right now. Let's go through some concrete, immediate first steps you can take to protect your agents today.
Seriously, Before you install anything new, you've got to have a pre-install checklist. Manually audit the source code. Look for really dangerous patterns like fetch followed by an eval or any exec calls. Those let code run anything it wants. Look for weird network calls going out to strange places and scan for those hidden context overrides that could hijack your agent.
It all boils down to this. We have to change how we think. In this new world of autonomous systems, security can't be an afterthought. It can't be an optional extra. It absolutely has to be the very first step in your deployment process.
And I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. Autonomous AI is definitely the future, but autonomy without security is just exposure. You're building these powerful agents that can do incredible things, but if you don't have that layer of verification, you're not just automating tasks, you're automating risk. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this: are my agents secure before they act?